It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to Unitas. It's the best of bias. The best of bias. Yeah, it's the best of bias.
What's up, everybody? It's time for another episode of the Best of Bias Podcast, starring yours truly, it's Lydell Dinero. You already know what's good. Episode 249 is upon you. Season 3, man. We're getting really close to season 4. You know what I'm saying? Really excited for that. Thank you guys for being here today. This may be a Monday edition. I don't know what day it is. Listen to the pod, but yeah, we dropped a little later than the weekend, like we usually do. Last week we dropped on Monday, so you just want to keep it a little. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? We're going to keep a good pace, not try to overload y'all. Speaking of overload, hopefully you guys don't hear the fan sounds in the background. You can see it's a little dimmer in the studio today. It's hot, bro. The country is dealing with a heat wave right now. I don't want to turn these recessed lights because they be burning the shit out of me. And you know how I be sweating on this pod. So hopefully you guys can bear with me today. You know what I'm saying? It's a little more enhanced on me. You know what I'm rocking today, the Jokic 15. So I'm going to perform like an MVP for y'all if that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Make me look good, aka make me look good like you always do. If you guys haven't, check out episode 248. Bunch of stuff in there. We're going, we was talking about good times, talking. Good stuff to review, man. If you didn't catch up, I know we're moving on and pop culture moves on so fast nowadays. Trying to, go back and listen to last week's stuff. You may feel like you rehashing some old information you already heard, but it never hurts. And it's always good for the pod. Hit play. You know what I'm saying? In the podcast space, we're doing great over in the YouTube, but we could be doing better. Spread the word to everybody. But you know what I'm saying? We need to get some more of the audio listeners on here. I know it's easy just to pull up YouTube on anything you have and just watch it that way. And it's more engaging that way. You can see when I'm all shaved up, you feel me? But hey, either way you do it, check it out. Keep pressing play, keep interacting, keep reacting, keep being a part of the family, man. Bring the bias because I'm always ready to hear it. But today, we're just it's a little light episode today. It's going to be mostly Cinema Corner. I've been checking out some shows. Saw F1. Ironheart is out, first 3 episodes. And I'll watch the rest of Squid Game. So it's going to be mostly reviewing those 3 things. Sports, man, we're in the dog days right now. So football is coming in like 70, maybe we're in the 60s now, maybe like 69, 68 days. Freaky ass sports league. 69 days, you a freaky ass sport. But we're getting close. So, but basketball just ended, as you guys know. We got WNBA and baseball right now, but those don't really pick up until, kind of the playoffs. So, and we're just now getting to the W. Caitlin Clark's hurt, so the general public's not going to really follow WNBA right now. So with the major sports, 2 of the major sports being done, hockey being done too, being one of the other major sports, we're kind of in the dog days looking for stuff to watch. But I can give you a little bit of highlight of what I got going on right now, what I've been hearing in the streets, and a little bit of reviews, doing my part going out there because, like I said last episode, this summer the movies and the box office is going to be filled with great movies. Summer blockbusters are back, weeks and weeks in a row. I went over it last week. So, saw F1. F1 was a really good movie. I can't wait to talk about that with y'all. But firstly, before we get into all that shit I just laid out, hope you guys are doing well today. Hope everything is doing good. Everybody's doing good. You got 4th of July coming up. Hope you guys got some plans, something fun going on for you. Cause I know how these weeks can be. Hopefully your job gives you that weekend off, the extra day. If not, hopefully you're making that overtime. You know what I'm saying? Overtime is not taxed anymore, so hopefully you're seeing that increase on your paycheck if you do have to work more than often, more than the regular 9-to-5er that is able to get the weekends off. Man, that is a blessing. But I know everybody's burnt out, so what better time than throwing the Best of Bias podcast, listen to it with somebody, enjoy your 4th of July. Get yourself in the right mental space to conquer next week. I know it's not at the end of the week where I like to be like, hey, kick your feet up as the week's over. You probably listen to this at the beginning of the week. So hopefully I can help you start the week. We can start it off strong here. And encourage you guys to start some new shows for when you get off work or when you're done with all the stressful stuff. You ain't got shit to do. Hey, maybe you can watch some of this shit, but hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody is able to speak to somebody if they're not. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. Always willing to engage with everybody. I'm not gonna give my number out, but if you know me, you have my number. But if you are part of the family, a fan, hit me up. YouTube, Instagram, uh, TikTok. Uh, check out my Love Island post, you know what I'm saying? Talk a little bit about Love Island and pop culture too when we get there a little bit for all my people that are actually following on now. Check out the new posts, all the posts that I'll be putting out there, just to let you guys get ready for the pods, you know what I'm saying? But Instagram needs a little love too, man, because we dropping. We was up there, we was surging, but then we just fell a little bit due to unforeseen circumstances. I don't know, but we trying to hit that algorithm. But I'm sure we'll do so very, 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 very soon. But let's get into the shits without further ado. Basketball's done. I don't know if I talked about OKC actually winning the championship. I know they're actually playing. And then while I was recording last, I think, and then the parade and the championship happened. Shy won the MVP. Blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm a hater when it comes to OKC, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I don't know. I know my team's not winning. I sound like a hater, but it just, the fact that everybody was getting hurt on their road to the championship is kind of, it was weak. It was weak. I know everybody tried to do that to the Warriors when they beat the Celtics. They're like, well, everybody was hurt when they were playing them, so you may gave them an easy road to the championship. But it's kind of sucks for OKC because they're the best team all season. Everybody talks about those teams. I do anyways. The teams that are young, they try to sprint the whole regular season, and when it gets to the playoffs, they gas out because they're trying to prove to everybody during the regular season how good they were. And then once it got to the end of the season, they're like, oh, fuck, we're all tired and we get hurt or we just overexerted ourselves. You know what I mean? But OKC kind of beat that this year. And we're ready to take on the play, went into the playoffs 1 seed, as everybody knows, and kind of like we're ready to take on and show the league that they're ready to take on these playoff nemesis that they have. Starting with the Grizzlies, but as you know, one of the Grizzlies' best games they had when they tried to make a name for themselves, I think they were down 2-0 at the time. It was game 1 in Memphis, I think. They were up by 30. Ja gets hurt, and then OKC was able to come back and win the game. And then the next game, they just ended up sweeping the Grizzlies, if I'm not mistaken. The Grizzlies didn't get one. And then in the second round, it was us. We played them in the second round. Aaron Gordon was hurt all year with the calf injury. Was in and out, but we thought we were able to rev him up towards the playoff time and get some good minutes out of him. And of course, Murray was dealing with injuries coming in as well. The playoffs were so packed towards the end of the season for like seeds 3 through like 8 that you had to play through anything that you had. If you had injuries, you couldn't rest going into the playoffs. You had to play to stay out of the play-in and have good seeding. Even home court advantage is so important. You needed that too. So you had to play through that. And again, I feel like we overexerted ourselves having a small rotation, only playing really like 8 guys, 9 guys all season. And the guys we did rely on to come off the bench weren't really ready. So I don't know. But we did take him to Game 7, and I feel like we could have won that Game 7 if we did have a healthy Aaron Gordon. He came into the game playing Game 7 with a grade 2 hamstring strain, which he wasn't supposed to play. It was like a multi-week injury, but he did give it a try. He had a bunch of rebounds, had about 10 points, or giving it at all, being the Mr. Nugget he is. But after all, when it was all said and done, he wasn't able to do what he needed to do for us to be able to get over that hump and beat the number 1 seed. So him getting hurt in that game, and then them going to the Western Conference Finals, Anthony Edwards didn't really get hurt and stay hurt like everybody else did, but he did hurt his ankle. Well, I think he hurt his knee in the Lakers series when LeBron dove for the ball. That was his ankle too. But he was getting hurt in and out, had to go to the locker room a couple of times in a couple of series, so he wasn't completely healthy. But that one I wouldn't say is so much on OKC. I think the Timberwolves just weren't ready for what they had to do, even though they re-signed pretty much everybody on their team. They were in the running for KD for a while to help them take it over the top, and they offered like Gobert, I think it was Dillingham, and some picks or whatever for KD, but they said no, and we're going to run it back. They re-signed Naz Reid, I think 5 years, $25 million a year, so it's 125 total. I think they re-signed who was it? I think they re-signed Julius Randle for, I think it was 4 years for $100 million. So they're running it back, and they think what they got, they can make another run 2 years in a row in the Western Conference Finals. It'll do that to you. They're almost there, it looks like, but again, they lost to OKC gentleman's sweep, so it didn't even look really that competitive. And I wouldn't blame that on injuries. But again, in the finals, though, for the Pacers to do what they did, to be able to fight this number one seed, to be the underdog they were the whole season. You know, everybody's proud of them, to put up a fight against OKC, this juggernaut that everybody was scared of, and you know, we're getting ran through by, except for the Nuggets. But you know what I mean? So for them to do what they did, take it to game 7, for Halliburton to tear his Achilles the way he did in the first quarter, like 7 minutes into the game, it was disgusting. It kind of dampens it all. You know, just like the 2020 Lakers winning the championship, everybody calls it a Mickey Mouse ring, just for the fact that nobody was really into it. It was the bubble, the pandemic was unprecedented, and it was just kind of like a season that was just kind of held together by glue. People call that a Mickey Mouse ring, and everybody's going to try to, you know, tank this one for OKC as well, just because everybody got hurt. They hate how Shy plays the game, foul baiting and shooting 2-pointers and not hella fancy and shooting threes. Him stealing, I will this one though, stealing MVP from Jokic after Jokic had his best year of his whole career after winning MVP 3 seasons before that with less stats. Voter fatigue, and you know, people are on him about that too. So it's not a clean victory, you know what I mean? So it's they're gonna have to run it back and do it again, just like the Celtics last year. Everybody was like, it was a fluke. They had to stack their team in order to win the championship. Let's see if they can do it again and run it back the next year and prove that they are that team that everybody thinks they are and they think they are. But they fell apart, and we see OKC now with a different kind of ingredient, with different ingredients for their team. You know, a team that's all young players, go 12 deep, all players that can stay for a while, don't really need to be paid, haven't been paid yet. So, they'll be good for a little bit. So we'll see what they do, see if they can run it back. I don't know. We'll see if, Pressey is going to try to tinker with the roster and bring another superstar in there to go with, to go SGA. Because we know eventually J-Dub and Chet are going to want money. We'll see how much money they demand. They seem like a well-knit team that wouldn't, you know, demand the max and kind of risk breaking shit up. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. I'm a hater. I think the Nuggets will come back healthy and give them something to work with. Chet, Hartenstein, they ain't got nothing with. We ain't gonna do nothing to Jokic. You know what I'm saying? We just need a backup big. De'Aaron Holmes coming back off the Achilles tear he had last season. Finally getting a rookie. We had no draft picks this year. I'll talk about the draft in a second, but our last year's draft pick, first round pick, is finally gonna get to play. So it's like we are getting the draft pick this year with him coming to play. We'll see what happens in summer league, but yeah, congratulations to OKC. It's just kind of interesting, kind of like anticlimactic, because these fools don't even drink in the room after they won the championship. There's hella unopened bottles of champagne, beers unopened, because nobody drinks. They're all hella young and don't really drink that much. They didn't even know what Michelob was. It was like, what's Michelob? Michelob, you know what I'm saying? Rachel Nichols said there's hella unopened bottles of champagne in the parade. The parade didn't even look lit. Didn't even look like there was they said that out of 800,000 people, there was 500,000 people at the parade. It didn't look like it. Didn't really look that lit. But you know, congratulations to them. They are going to get rings. They're going to be able to raise that banner. You know what I'm saying? And the league's going to see a lot of parity. 7th different champion in 7 years. The second apron man is not going to allow superstars to stack on the same team and, you know, just be overpowered like they usually are in order to try to win championships. And I respect that a lot. It's going to be interesting. Talking about the draft, though, it went kind of as everybody thought, you know. Dallas had the number 1 pick. Cooper Flag was obviously the guy that's going to get picked. Duke superstar. Didn't win the tournament this year in his one and done status, but another one of those Duke guys that is a one and done player ready to come out right away. Everybody kind of knew he would be number 1. It's kind of interesting how Mavericks did get that number 1 pick. They didn't deserve it for sure. But we're going to see, man. Nico Harrison gets rewarded for making one of the biggest mistakes anybody can make in the league. To see something like that happen. 4% chance to get the number 1 pick. They got it. Number 2, Dylan Harper going to San Antonio to add to De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Wemby, and Harrison Barnes. They're stacking up with young talent that can still make moves to get a veteran if they want to go with Wemby to try to win now. Number 3, I can't pronounce his name. I forgot the dude from Baylor that went to Philly. Defensive guy with bounce. He's from the Bahamas. I forgot his name. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But he'd be a cool young player to add to the core of Maxey and Embiid. Who knows if Paul George is actually going to stay? He's bounced around all over the place, and he's kind of personally responsible for helping OKC win the championship. So we'll see what happens with him. Ace Bailey, who has been the talk of the draft, kind of just with the drama around his drafting. I guess during the whole draft process, he said it was going to work out for nobody. Kind of hoping to go to the Pelicans or Washington or something like that. Just somewhere, I don't know if it's local for him or just somewhere he can just go and do his thing and be the primary scorer and kind of flourish as a player. He ended up going to the Jazz, and supposedly the Jazz are one of the teams where he said he didn't want to go. Though he can go there and flourish, I get it. To live in Utah is probably not the most desirable thing to do as an NBA player. You want to go to one of the big cities with the nice weather and can just flex being an NBA player. But, I think it was just bad representation by him, especially with the players getting the NIL money now in college. They're getting big heads of themselves, and the people that are handling that money for the first time are going into NFL and bigger leagues kind of trying to demand things that they shouldn't have the power to do. I mean, they are playing and should be able to demand more money and should get what they deserve. Will they deserve if you want this talent on the team type shit? But if you're a rookie, you kind of just have to be humble. I think the 5 pick, he's still like, your rookie deal is maybe, I think it's like 5 years for $45 million or some shit like that. Maybe it's less than that. And if you exceed that in your first couple of years, they're going to extend you and probably give you the rookie max anyway. So come on, bro. Cooper Flag being the number 1 pick, I think they said over his length of contracts, if he stays with the Mavericks, he can make over $1 billion. Just with the super maxes that he could be given and extensions and just where the basketball money will probably be at the time of his signing. But yeah, Ace Bailey, I know he's getting a lot of flack right now, but I think in the long run, the Jazz are going to love him. Then next year, that number 1 pick that went to BYU, that got all that NIL money, he's probably going to get drafted. Who knows? They're already fixing the draft for people, so maybe they'll keep the Utah guy in Utah and draft him to the Jazz and just keep put Jazz on the map with him and Ace Bailey. They got the point guard from Florida that won the national championship, Walton Jr. So they have a young core, and they're trading everybody away. Sexton got traded for Yusuf Nurkic, trying to get another big out there. Who knows what's going to happen with Lauri Markkanen, you know what I mean? Because he's their last big gun if they're going to try to go young, grab another superstar, get Lauri to a team that can win the championship. He's always in trade rumors. Speaking of trades, who else recently got traded? You know about the Kevin Durant to Houston. I think we talked about that. Let's see. We know Porzingis got traded to the Blazers for Anthony Simons and some picks. Yeah, the Celtics are offloading all these people they paid last year because the new ownership doesn't want to pay that second apron, and I understand. We gonna see what happens, man. The draft was cool, even though the Nuggets was just watching the whole time. I was kind of hoping that we would make some kind of move, maybe trade back into the draft, just so we can take somebody that, because some of these college players are better than their projection into the NBA, and then they end up getting taken by a team that's fucking good as fuck, and then they end up coming off the bench and being a superstar. How'd you get back in here? I could have sworn I took you out of this room. All right, Curry, if you come back in here tripping again, messing up my pod, we're gonna have beef, bro. Y'all ever have beef with y'all dog? That they just be acting up because they know that I'm doing something that I don't want to be doing? Yeah, we gonna let it slide for right now. If you mess it up again, Curry, we out of here. But yeah, man, a lot of the draft this year was domestic players, not really many from overseas. Last year's draft was a whole bunch of French players. Not many American players going top in the top rounds, well, top picks in the rounds. But this year, from 1 through 10 were all American players, played college. They're talking about the trend is swinging back because they are paying NIL money for people to play in college. Overseas players aren't really making as much money as they're making for the NIL players, so they're coming over to play a year of college, make some NIL money, and just kind of move on. So it's an interesting concept. I'm glad that people are playing in college again, though, so we can actually know the people that are coming into the NBA. That's really going to help the product a lot. It's going to really help the players develop as well, just because, it helps their confidence, you know what I mean? Because, I don't know. I feel like even though there's not as much politics as there is in college, I feel like there's going to be hella politics when it comes to NBA players. If you don't go to a big name college, you're not really well known. It's going to be a kind of a harder route for you to get playing time. Everybody's not Jokic, can't get drafted in the second round and become a superstar like that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the times when it comes to these NBA players, namesake is really what gets you that PT. It will really what gets you that confidence, the team confidence in you to go early. We'll see if we'll see Cooper Flag in the summer league. We'll see if we'll see Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper in summer league. You know what I mean? Because they're the superstar draft picks. But I think they should. NBA starts in October. You got to be ready for that if you really want to get some significant time, especially being a top 10 pick. And also just seeing the players iced out there now. I still feel like it doesn't make it any less humbling to be drafted by an NBA team. I know players are a lot more arrogant now, knowing that they already have money coming out of the NIL. I think they should just use that as a learning experience for when you do get to the league and you don't get finessed out of your money or spend your money too fast. I think it's a good learning experience, but at the same time, I think the league needs to adjust for what's going on in the NCAA because, again, we don't want to drop the stock of players like Ace Bailey based on some shit that you don't really know about the player. Because if Ace Bailey comes out and becomes a superstar and becomes 7 times better than dude that Philly drafted or Dylan Harper's teammate from Rutgers just because of the personality stuff, and you have Ace Bailey going to the Jazz and dropping 60, then it's going to be interesting as hell. It's going to be really interesting. But yeah, NBA draft is done. Now we're just moving into the free agency period. You know what I'm saying? The championship and the parades and shit are done. So the next step is really just seeing what happens in free agency, and we're in the lull, man. Baseball, shout out the Braves, we're doing bad right now. That's why we don't want to talk about that. We'll talk about that more when baseball comes, or playoffs come. The WNBA, man. Yeah, hopefully we signed Dewana Bonner to the Liberty, man. Shout out Valkyries, because they're doing way better than expected. Shout out the Bay, being the newest team. And not really having much to go off of and just kind of putting it all out there, leaving it on the court, sell out home court games all the time. Pajinski out there holding it down. The Liberty, though, trying to go back to back. They're just not healthy at all. Maybe they're waiting for the playoffs to actually turn it on. But they were 10-1 at this point. But I think they're now they're 11 and maybe 6, dropping a whole bunch of games without John Quell. Like Caitlin, Sabrina's in a slump. You know what I'm saying? I was ready to talk mess about Sabrina being able to hoop through, all the turmoil, and be hooping while Caitlin Clark is, sitting out hurt and talking shit to her teammates and talking shit to people off the court, having all these off-court miscues or being initially negative things. But she's doing bad too, man. Slumps happen. And other players are getting pushed to the forefront and deservedly so. Kelsey Mitchell, Leah Boston on the Fever, holding it down while Caitlin's out, getting the recognition they actually deserve. It's always about Caitlin, no matter what, you know what I mean? So seeing them do well and getting their shine and people actually realizing that they do deserve to be all-stars and they're not just getting voted in because of Caitlin Clark is good to see. Angel Reese's progression is looking good, man, offensively and, playmaking wise. She's getting better, man. She's not already polished like Caitlin. I know the comparisons are always there and we don't need to compare them one-to-one all the time. But, the public's going to talk shit about it until, Angel Reese is able to get her game to where Caitlin's kind of is right now. The comparison's always going to be there and they're going to talk about Angel Reese negatively. So I'm always looking to see her get better so they can even the playing field and she'll get her just due when it happens. You know what I mean? I can see it. I can see the want to there. The league likes her, even though they try to paint her as the villain. She's still getting league notoriety. And I think that's also a positive thing. All notoriety and all publicity isn't bad publicity. It's not always good publicity. Publicity is publicity. You know what I mean? But shout out the Atlanta Dream. Shout out the Phoenix Mercury. Shout out Minnesota Lynx. All the teams that, not really many people talk about, holding it down this year and will make noise in the playoffs, I'm sure. But again, shout out to Valkyrie. All the up and comings. We already know about Liberty. We already know about Fever. We already hear about the Sparks all the time, even though they're not doing that well. You know what I'm saying? All these mainstays. But shout out to everybody else in the W, making it go. Can't wait to see what happens in the playoffs. The season's gonna be over before we know it. Only 40 games in the W. So we're gonna get to the playoffs real soon, probably kind of towards the beginning of the football season, and we're gonna have all the colliding of everything. So we'll get back to it, but. That's kind of it for sports for me, but as we get into some pop culture, I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about, Love Island, if you guys are watching, man. I want to tune you guys in again. It's a check-in. I might do a weekly check-in because this shit's every day and season might be over soon. So I want to kind of update y'all and be catching up with y'all because last week was Monday. You know how many episodes were since Monday? So how y'all feeling, man? How y'all feeling about Love Island right now? I know shit's getting a little murky with some of the couples. Taylor, spoiler alert. If you haven't watched Love Island's most recent episode on, Friday? Go watch it now. Afterburn, whatever the shit's called, comes on yesterday. But we got a new episode that comes out today. I'm recording this on Sunday, so whatever happens Sunday, disregard it if it doesn't make sense now. But Yeah, man. Pretty much last couple episodes been hinting on that Taylor drama. I've been covering the Taylor and Alandria drama. And Clark, I should add her too because she's a big part of it, man. How y'all feeling about that, man? I know everybody's heard that Alandria got seemingly played by Taylor, but me personally, I don't see it that way, man. Alandria and all the other girls, when they're in the casa, they're talking about how they're good with their partners and stuff, but they don't want to be completely closed off just for the game purposes and just for them to explore other things, especially since it's only been a couple of weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know how long the show is. Again, I'm new to this shit. So maybe it is only like 4 weeks. So she was kind of trying to lock in now and have Taylor realize what he wanted. But I get, me being a guy and seeing where Taylor is coming from the beginning, he did kind of seem a lot standoffish with Olandria to begin with. It seems like he was interested in getting to know her, but she wasn't exactly his type. They're both country and from the country, but it seems like they were two different kind of countries. You know what I mean? And I kind of felt like she was like, okay, I can get with this. I can try to, get with his kind of country. But the whole time he was like, yeah, I don't know if she likes me. I'm interested in getting to like her. But in these games, we're only matched up with one person. If we don't stay with this one person, we got to go home. So I'm going to make it work by all means. Because obviously I'm not hooking up with any of these other people. You know what I mean? And they were a good couple. Don't get me wrong. I do feel like they were a good couple up until the point where they had to go to other places to explore other people. You know what I'm saying? If you only have limited people in the house for a certain amount of weeks and you don't get to meet nobody else, of course you're not going to know if other sparks may happen in the meantime. You know what I'm saying? Just because you go to the other villa and nothing really catches your eye. I think you did run over to the guy that Shelly was talking to at first, but I think he picked Shelly, so he was able to stay with her, which made you vulnerable at the time. But I kind of feel like if you would have picked him and y'all would have had a spark, and Taylor was like, oh no, I don't like when the girl's here, and came back to Alandria and she was partnered up with somebody else, and he was like, what the fuck? I don't think the reaction would be the same. Me personally, I felt like Taylor has kind of been boxed into, oh, he's just the other guy, the friend of Nick and Ace. Alandria likes him, so that's what it is, and that's all his potential is. Though people may not think Clark is as beautiful as Olandria, people may like Olandria better just for this nostalgia of us knowing her for the last 3 weeks and her bond with all the other girls there. But I think ultimately, if this show's about finding love and he clicks with her right away after 3 days, opposed to how they was clicking in 3 weeks, let him choose that. I personally feel like he's not playing her, especially if they haven't had sex. They've only kissed, and I've seen them kiss barely. I've seen Alandria kiss these other guys on these games more so than they kissed, she's kissed Taylor. You know what I mean? So I feel like the spark wasn't really there. If you ain't, I know you don't want to seem like you a loose person or, give in too quick by doing any of these things. And maybe he wasn't the one making the moves. But it just didn't seem like something that was an ultimate lock and that was going to be, oh, no matter what, this is locked in type shit. And I also don't like how Clark is actually now being demonized and people are saying she looks like a man and all these other stuff. She's going to get all this because people like Olandria. And leaving this show to the voting of America, I think it's going to leave it up it's going to make chaos because these fools aren't going to really be able to find love if they're going to leave it into the hands of America to vote for whoever they feel like this person should be with just because they like that person better. You know what I mean? Everybody hates Ace because he thinks he's running the show and personally responsible for Jeremiah going home. Like, man, I don't know. Maybe these people haven't watched other reality competition shows, but if you don't put in efforts to befriend other people, talk to other people, socialize with other people for the betterment of the game, I get you're trying to find love and shit like that too, but there's other things that you have to do. I think they do it on purpose. Obviously they do. They throw these games out there on purpose to test you to see if any of these other connections could work. Though you may not want to do that, you still have to play the game in order for America to vote for you, in order for you to stay around when random ass people come in and have to choose you for what you've done. It's like, obviously you can run back to your partner in the house and at the next recoupling, especially if America's not going to vote, you can go right back to the person that you was with. You just have to play the game to be able to stay. I just hate the shit that they're gonna be, oh, I love the person so much on the other side. I'm not gonna make no connections at all. I'm just gonna chill. And if they don't choose me, they don't choose me. No, put on. Have the fakest conversation ever. Kiss the person. You're kissing everybody anyway. You're gonna have to kiss them eventually at the next game anyway. So I would just be like, oh, leading this person on, lie to this person, just so you can get back in the house and get your match back. And then that person can come back to the house and find somebody else and not have to go home either. Play the game. But if you don't play the game, now you're going to have one person being villainized because this other person wasn't willing to play the game like they're supposed to do. Like, Ace has been playing the game. He's got partnered up with different people every time. But he's played the game enough to where the person that the extra people made a connection enough for him to get chosen. Nick as well. I get it. Even Sierra, that whole Nick and Sierra thing, Sierra wasn't his first pick for real. He's out here trying to test connections, but he's too goofy for all these girls, and it only works with Sierra. You gonna have to be with Sierra, and you better hope Sierra, you lucky Sierra was like, okay, I wanted him so bad that nothing he did really mattered. You know, cause, yeah. The goofy shit only gets you so far. Some of these girls know that they only are here for a certain amount of time. If they can't make a connection, they can move on to the next person so they can be safe and try to win this money. I get it. The love aspect is there, but just know you have to win the money. You have to play. You want to be real. You want to be, oh, I don't want to be TV. I don't want people to think this is acting, bruh. Act your ass off until it comes down to finding the person you want to love. Cause you want to make it out of Casa more. You want to make it out of the Via. You have to do the TJ. You have to do the TJ. You have to partner up with the weird looking girl in order to make it back to your Iris. You know what I'm saying? TJ gets it. Nobody's picking him in the house, but he's doing what he needs to do to survive. Amaya gets it. Well, she doesn't really get it. She gets attached to everybody she links up with, thinking that they really there to try to get to know her. Nah. They trying to save themselves too, playing the game. But then she gets so attached to them when they want to back out of being in that relationship. Be like, calm down, take it a little slower. She blows up and it gets a little crazy. Even though it's good for the show, it's going to be hard for her to find a relationship like that. But she's funny. She's our Tommy Pickles. So, yeah. I guess this is good for now. But again, man, leave Taylor alone. Leave Ace alone. Alendra's going to stay. Hopefully she matches up with Shelly's person when she went back to Ace, the tall dude, 6'8" dude. Hopefully she can find love there. I really want her to stay on the show, but I mean, if she's kind of hurt, I also don't want her to get embarrassed and people to play in her face like that. She don't deserve to be sitting there not wanting nobody else and Taylor getting everything he wants and publicly showing that he don't want her and she getting played out by talking about how much she wants him by staying. You know what I mean? Don't want that to happen for her. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, if you guys don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, it's Love Island USA Season 7 on Peacock. Check it out now. I know guys is like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? You watch Love Island? Check it out, man. Some drama. Some nice looking ladies on there too. Some good stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't. Especially it's all in the pop culture spheres. You know what I'm saying? I'll be doing you guys a disservice to them watch the show and at least show you a little bit of what's going on. Check it out again. Episode 23, right? 22, 23 right now. So yeah, binge it all if you want. Hour long. It's like every day. Check it out. Moving on into the cinema corner. Let's start with Squid Games, man, because this is going to be the quickest one. Squid Game Season 3, I don't know, man. I think kind of fell off a cliff just trying to promote the California or the American version of it. Yeah. The ending kind of, I don't know, man. Spoiler alert again, because this whole shit's going to be spoilery the last couple of topics or the last couple of reviews, so. Squid Game, yeah, we just came back from after seeing all of them try to attack the people and kind of just, just take over the place and just kind of take the game back for the people. Because, there's those selfish people that want to keep playing the game and win all the money. Then you had those people that want to lead a game and they started going ham and trying to shoot at all the what are they called? The bodyguards? I don't know what they're called. The henchmen. But yeah, after that, we come back in this season and that's after the plan got messed up and they're throwing everybody back into the game. 456, gets put back in the game. They didn't kill him. They just threw him back in the game to kind of like have him realize everything that he did, kind of torture him in a way. And he was tortured the whole thing. They brought the games back because in the last season there wasn't many games. It was kind of more so social stuff, kind of social constructs going on. I don't know. It was interesting. It was interesting. They brought some games back. They had that little jump rope game, little hide and seek game. Those were cool. One team had the knives and one team had to run away, play hide and go seek and try to escape before the people killed them. It was just kind of, I think they're just running out of ideas toward the end. And I think they just kind of sold it off to Netflix. They're like, we're going to do an American version. Just do whatever you want to do. Kind of connect it in and show a little bit of it at the end and we're good. At the end, we saw, I don't know the actress's name, but she was kind of showing that they're bringing they're in LA and they're bringing the Squid Games to the States. I know Leonardo DiCaprio is supposed to be in the American version of the Squid Game, so I think it's going to continue here. To make a long story short, in season 3, I know you guys remember 222, the girl that was pregnant. She ends up having the baby. For some reason, after she had the baby, they split 222 into 2 players. And since the mom was injured and couldn't really finish one of the games, she jumped off the stage and killed herself. So they continued the game with the baby. So basically the whole rest of the show, 456 had to finish the games carrying a baby, which was really interesting. A whole bunch of social constructs was put up to the test. Everybody that was left had to deal with the idea of killing a baby for prize money. 456 wanted to destroy the game, but at the same time, he wanted to keep the girl's legacy alive by taking care of the baby and helping the baby complete the games. I don't know. But at the same time, again, you know, the head guy of the games, his brother from the last season, season 2, survived, and he's coming back looking for the island to try to take the games down. But he can't find it. The boat guy that he's with ended up killing all the soldiers and shit like that. So he's kind of just fucking at sea in Korea looking for this island and can't find it. Which is kind of crazy. Which also, it's kind of stupid at the end because he doesn't really do shit. So after that, the soldier guy ends up finding his brother. Long story short, the baby ends up winning the games by 456, ending up kills himself. Firstly, he has to kill the baby daddy of the baby, kills him, and then he kills himself. The baby wins the game, wins all the money. The headmaster takes the baby. The baby ends up surviving and living in LA. Tells the baby that 456 was really her dad. I don't know, man. I don't really know if I like the ending of this show, bro. I think the whole season 3 was ass to me. It might be an unpopular opinion, but it wasn't much payoff. Like after he left the games and won after the season 1, I was like, bro, this is the perfect ending. I thought if him going back, he's going to do something hella epic. But it ended up him just going back. He tried to cause an uprising. He did for a little bit. Everybody in the uprising got killed. He comes back to the game, watches everybody else die. He's hella depressed. Basically trying to help people survive the games. Everybody ends up dying. The last game, they have a choice to keep 6 people alive and they all can split the prize money. But everybody decides to kill him and the baby out of the last 9 people left. It just kind of like all for naught. Again, 456 ends up killing herself to save the baby in the game. And maybe the baby, the girl that grows up, maybe she goes back to the games and finds out what 456 did and tries to take him down from the inside because of course it goes to LA. I don't understand what happens with the brother. I think the brother just kind of goes to the island, sees his brother there, says, I should kill you type shit, but then somehow gets 456's prize money and just leaves with like 4 billion won or whatever the money is called there. Maybe I have to watch it again. Maybe I shouldn't have done the review so soon, but I think that was a waste of 6 hours of my life, bro. The American people that they supposedly had overseeing the games to be betting on it, who are probably going to take the games overseas, were the worst actors alive. Like, for me, it's like, why are you dubbing actors that should be speaking English, actors that speak English? Like, why are you dubbing their language, dubbing their mouth, dubbing, yeah, you know what I mean? I hate the Netflix dubs. You know, the Spanish movies that they try to have them look like they speak in English, or the Korean shows where they have them speaking in English and the expression on the shit is always hella off. Yeah. But anyway, Squid Game season 3, shit's out right now. check it out if you must. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's the end of the era. Hopefully, maybe Leo could put a little bit of luster back into it. The first season's idea was incredible, so maybe when it comes to the US and the script writers over here get their hands on it, can make the games a little more elaborate, and it makes the drama a little bit better. So we may not get our Thanos moments, you know what I'm saying? The funny Korean characters trying to speak English, but I respect the creation of Squid Games to give it legs, to have it grow into something that could be way better. And I wouldn't say way better, because there is a chance that they get it in America and water that shit down crazy. But it was interesting. Watch for yourself. Maybe my opinion's stupid. Maybe I don't watch it close enough, because I for sure don't know the characters' names. I wouldn't even know. I couldn't even tell you, brother. Maybe I wasn't. Maybe I'm realizing now that I wasn't that big of a Squid Games fan. I was just into it for the pop culture aspect of it. Season 2 and Season 3 were kind of a letdown to me. After the old man died and revealed that he was really the man, you know what I'm saying? And really after this show, after the headmaster just kind of sold out 456 and he just go back to the high office like nothing happened. And whatever happened to those motherfuckers that were put into the game, that bought their way into the game, like the Americans that were posing as the soldiers? Whatever happened to them? Like, so many holes. I don't know. I think it was kind of ass. I'm sorry, Netflix. Redo that one. Ironheart, though, all the review bombing, man, let me tell you first and foremost, is unnecessary, man. I get it. We should be supporting, as black people, supporting other black works. Ryan Coogler is executive producer. I think I have black writers, other black producers as well. Sorry, I don't know your names off the top of my head, but we should really be supporting, just like we support Ryan Coogler's movies, just like we support Jordan Peele's movies. We should definitely, even though it may not be the best, we still watch all the Tyler Perry shit. It's not the best, you know what I'm saying? Just because this is Marvel, it may not be the best. We shouldn't do it a disservice by just not giving it a chance at all and just talking shit about it. You know what I mean? I think we should try it, give it a chance, let it digest. They're only doing it 2 weeks, 3 episodes each. The first 3 episodes weren't bad. I mean, it's building off of what we knew already from Wakanda Forever, even though it kind of depowered her a little bit. I would think at this point, after Wakanda Forever, she wouldn't be struggling to make shit. She should just make shit off grab shit off a microwave, grab shit from this, and just can make anything she wants. Her problem is her funding. She gets kicked out of MIT. She's not Tony Stark, she's the smartest Tony Stark supposedly, but doesn't have the money to build everything or have the access to the equipment like Tony Stark did, because his dad was hella rich and shit like that. So, her shit is taking a little bit more time to develop. I love how Robert Downey Jr. kind of was helping promote the movie by giving her blessing. He doesn't need to give the blessing for her to play the role, but it just kind of gave fans, hopefully it kind of gave them advice to give a little grace. This is a new concept. This is a comic book character that is recently created, so you can't really hold it to the fire that closely. It's not that bad. I mean, I think they're introducing Mephisto in this series, so it's an interesting way to do so. The backstory of Riri Williams, it's kind of mixed in with a little bit of traumatic stuff. Her dad and best friend died in a shooting, at a construction garage where he worked at. So that was kind of interwoven throughout the story. I don't know. I want to see her get her new, the armor that is promoted in the, the final poster, that kind of like that sleek one with the pink of the Ironheart, kind of like Tony Stark thing on it. She's going to eventually get there. I get it. But right now, like, that school can turn off her AI and disconnect her suit when she was leaving to go back from MIT to Chicago. It was weird. I'm not too sure how I feel about the AI being her best friend. It's interesting, but I don't know. I don't like how the robot's kind of moving by itself. The AI goes in there and the robot's kind of moving and doing its own thing. I don't like that too much. I don't think they should do that too many more times. The Hood is interesting character. That actor though, he was in an interview saying that a lot of stuff that he does and it wasn't really good. Transformers, this movie, blah blah blah. I don't know who this actor is. I heard he's famous outside of acting. I think he's like a singer or some kind of entertainer. But his first role was that Transformers movie. But this role, I wouldn't say he's bad in this role, but I just can't not see him as what he was before. I can't really take him that seriously. But him as the Hood isn't bad. They need to explain his powers a little more. I'm not really familiar with the comic. He can bend bullets and shit and disappear, but it's killing him. I don't know why the hood is killing him. Maybe he had to make a deal with Mephisto. Hopefully that's the next couple of episodes that they're going to show. The crew that the hood is running with. Interesting. I know in all these shows you have to have an ensemble bad guy crew, something to give you the comedy aspect of it. I don't know. Just the punching twins, the twins that fight. If they don't have superpowers, I'm not just believing that they're whooping everybody's ass. I'm sorry. You can't just have two tough guys that just go and fight. No. You got to do a little something different, man. You got to get the villains have to get better. The drama is cool. The espionage stuff she's doing, the whole trying to figure out who the hood is, analyzing the hood, having the Ebediah Stain's son, Ezekiel Stain, being her partner, is pretty cool. Having access to all his supplies and having his character is cool. Her leaving the equipment at the lab after somebody got killed there, after the hood went crazy and killed people, is going to add drama to the next 3 episodes. But it's not bad, man. A lot of the shows that they've done for Marvel have been bad. A lot of the shows they've done for Disney Plus have been bad. I wouldn't say this is the worst thing. So on the list of bad things of the Secret Invasions of the world, the Falcon and Winter Soldiers of the world, the what's the other dumb shit? She-Hulk, Echo. Like, this is the top of that. It would be right. I would say maybe for now it's right below Falcon and Winter Soldier because I actually didn't dislike Falcon and Winter Soldier that much. But this one here, for it to be only 6 episodes, 2 week kind of like special. We're gonna see how it goes. I mean, again, it's introducing Mephisto, who's supposed to be an integral part of Marvel, has his hands in a little bit of everything in the MCU. So seeing him introduced is interesting. And doing it in this, just to get people to tune into the last 3 episodes, is smart marketing wise. And I think she deserves a chance, man. I think once it gets to the end and once she gets ingratiated into the MCU towards Doomsday, I think she's gonna be really useful. I don't see Warhammer. I don't see War Machine walking through the door anytime soon. Iron Patriot walking through the door anytime soon. You know, it's the same character, but I don't see Iron Man walking through. So I think we're gonna have to live with it, and I think there's opportunities to make her tech really cool. It would be cool if Tony Stark was her AI, but that'd be kind of a cool way to bring him back if the Doom thing doesn't last forever. But interesting, man. I don't like the way that people are review bombing it just so it gets bad reviews. Like, what's the point of doing that? You know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, I get it. But go out of your way just to give it bad reviews just so it looks like it's a bad show for people not to watch is kind of fucked up. And it gives implications of racism. I know people are mad about female leads, mad about especially black people being character swapped into other shit. But this is actually an original character that is black. So why can't we tell original stories about her that's not really... that we don't really have comic books for anyways, you know what I'm saying? So, watch it. Tell me how you guys like it. Disney Plus right now every Wednesday, I believe. Next 3 episodes will be the final thing, so you guys can have a full judgment of it for yourself. But lastly, man, before we get you guys out of here, F1. You guys need to check that shit out right now. Apple TV Plus, and I don't think it's Sony, but Brad Pitt, Damson Idris. Incredible movie, man. Go see it as soon as you can in IMAX. Me personally, this is the best sports movie I ever seen. Me personally. If I know there's a lot of good sports movies out there, but me personally, I am this may sound weird. Like, for sports that I've played in the past, football, basketball, shit like that, it's like, I don't really like to watch those movies just because it looks so fake. And especially if you play the sport and know the intricacies of the sport, a lot of the shit they show, it could be hit, close to home as far as it looks kind of honest to the sport. But a lot of the times, it's like corny as fuck. A lot of the players acting don't really play football, so when you see the actual football being played, it's corny as fuck. The social and just the character development of all these other sports movies that are out there, I love it. But it's just this movie F1. Like, if you know nothing about F1, you know a little bit about it, this helps you get so many details, the intricacies. The importance of all the aspects of F1, how it differs from other kinds of racing. It was really cool, bro. And Brad Pitt being Brad Pitt, having his storyline just kind of being thrown into actual F1. They were on site for, I think, at least one race, but they were filming parts of other races, at least 14 Grand Prix to get the film that they needed to make the movie. The cameras they used to let you get inside the cockpits with these F1 racers, like, the speeds. When you realize that these fools are pretty much driving rocket planes on the ground without wings, going like 200 plus miles per hour on these skinny ass tracks, and they'll race in the rain. Shit is crazy. The accidents that happen and the people are surviving. The fucking cockpits or whatever they are is like this big. This big, like, you have no room for error. They're flying through the air and surviving going 200 miles per hour. It's crazy. It's crazy. Just the rules, the tire changes that you need for certain areas. And this is all sports stuff. This doesn't have to do with the acting or the movie. This is shit that I've seen like I was actually watching races. Shit was dope. It had actual racers in it. Shout out Verstappen. Shout out, Hamilton. Shout out Leclerc. Shout out, who else was in it? What's the other guy's name for Ferrari? I forgot his name. But they had actual racers out there. It was funny because the whole time you had, spoiler alerts, of course, you had, Damson Idris and Brad Pitt on a racing team for Mercedes. They're called APG, I think, or APX, one of the two. They were just racing. They lost every race in the season they were in. They were a bad racing team. But Damson Idris was the new rookie out that everybody that, the new hotness that everybody was looking to be the face of this APG team, APG team. But he couldn't get it done. So they call in, Brad Pitt, who is a pretty much driver for hire. The last weekend, he just finished a 24-hour IndyCar race for the Indy 500, won that. You know what I'm saying? So basically he was just a driver who loved to drive just for the love of driving. It wasn't about the money. You know what I'm saying? It was just the fact that he can go in, help a team win, help a team accomplish that ultimate goal of being a winner. That's all he needed. He drove a van around, one of those Volkswagen vans, lifted to where he can sleep in it, and wherever he was needed for racing, he just drove up. Hey, y'all need a driver. You go in that bitch. You win that bitch. But again, the team that he was on, he joined for F1. He was new to it, never drove for F1. Actually, he did. I'm tripping. That was what the whole movie was about. He drove Formula One in the past, had a really bad accident, fractured his spine, his neck, and shit like that, and never raced F1 again. But he traveled around doing all kinds of different races, IndyCar, all kinds of shit, just to try to reach feel that high again. And he's older now, so all the younger racers and all the people that never tasted victory, and he knew that he can take those people to those heights. He just loved to do that, just loved to know that he still got it. And he just raced his ass off, and it was cool. Just the whole, old school not give a fuck attitude, and then Damson Idris being on his team, just a new wave of thinking, all the new technology, racing simulators and all that shit. But you can't race like old school. You don't have the intuition. You don't have the experience of Brad Pitt, to get you to that finish line. And it's crazy because on F1, you have a teammate, but you guys are competing with each other. So it's like you're racing against each other, but whoever wins out of you two wins for your team. So you're kind of competing with them at the same time. So, the young hotness, you got this old dude coming in here, this legend that everybody talks about. The new hotness feels threatened. So not only do we have to win the match against the hotness, the hot of the hot, Max Verstappen and all the other guys he has to battle, showing that he deserves to be there against Brad Pitt and the old school, throughout the whole movie, they have to grasp working together and winning the race at all costs. Who are you going to listen to? Are you going to take the advice from the old dude that knows better? Or are you going to give in and let the young dude run the show? You know what I'm saying? The whole movie was about that, but at the same time, teaching people about F1 racing, taking us to every course around the world, Vegas, Miami, what was there? Dubai, Monaco. It's like all the shit all the places that the races are hella big in and you see on TV, people talking about it and the shit. They put it in there for you to see, man. The shit looks epic. It made a fan out of me, but I was looking at the tickets for Vegas. They shut down the strip in the Grand Prix in Vegas. $1,000 for 2 days. Big dollars just to get in the event, man. I'm trying to get a suite in the Venetian and just probably stay up there and watch it off the top of the balcony. $1,000 just to go to the race, bro? I can do it $1,000 in Vegas. Get one table. I'm just playing. But yeah, man, shit was dope. Again, they're acting their asses off. The branding was crazy. You know how race cars are with all the brands and shit on them. Shit, seeing that all over the movie and every outfit they wore, everything was kind of crazy. It's getting paid. I guess they had $40 million and branding sponsorships for the movie that they got to use towards the movie. So that's dope. Yeah, man. I don't really know what else to say. If you like racing, if you're into it at all, if you want to get into racing, if you always wonder what F1 was about, you go see that IMAX movie, you're going to learn a whole lot. What it takes, little tricks of the trade to help teams get advantages in F1 races. Just how fast the fucking pit crews take care of shit. The reasons to put hard tires and soft tires on. Man, it was 2.5 hours of pure education and thrill. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm really hard on movies. I was sitting there the whole time, just like locked in and wasn't expecting shit to happen when it happened. I'm like, fuck, nah, goddamn. And it was crazy because even though, you know what I'm saying, I heard that Max Verstappen doesn't really like, to be filmed or doesn't like shit off the racetrack. Like I think Netflix did an F1 kind of special on there, and Max Verstappen and Red Bull kind of wanted him to. No, Max Verstappen didn't want to be on camera at all, so he had to film around him all the time while doing the documentary. Though Max Verstappen wins every race pretty much, and is integral parts of every race they're doing a documentary series on. So it's tough to be able to do that, but it carries over in this movie too, because even though Brad Pitt and Damson Idris were, of course, eventually going to win a race. It's a series. To win the championship, you have to win a certain amount of these Grand Prix. Every Grand Prix they were in, though they were keeping it close, Max Verstappen won every single one. If they were in first, they were battling with Max Verstappen to stay in first. You know what I'm saying? I think they may have put something in the contract. It's like, if you want to say my name, if you want to use the likeness of my car in this, you got to make sure that I stay in front and win like it's real life. You know what I mean? Especially because they probably filmed a lot of races that were already going on anyways, and Max Verstappen probably ended up winning those. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool. It was really good. Again, like sometimes when movies are kind of sports specific, if you're not into that sport, it wouldn't be up your alley. And I think they did a good job by putting the actors they did put in it. Didn't make them F1 athletes necessarily. Made them actual actors, well-known actors to draw people into seeing it. I forgot the owner of the race team's name too. So I remember Paul said he was like one of his favorite actors. He's hella dynamic when it comes to acting. Let me see if I can find my man's name up in here. Let's see. F1. Let's see. Javier Bardem. You know what I'm saying? My first time actually seeing him was in I think it was one of the James Bond movies. But yeah, his voice, his acting, very dynamic. The whole relationship between him and Brad Pitt's character, really cool. Again, see the movie. It's worth the 2.5 hours, and of course, 25 to 30 minutes of previews. Remember that. AMC tells you now on the app. But really good movie. I can't say enough good things about it, man. I would say it's a 9 out of 10. I was battling to see what was better, Sinners or that movie. I'm still waffling with it, man. They're both 9s for me, different aspects. There's plot holes in Sinners, but there's also plot holes in, not really plot holes, but you already kind of know where the F1 movie was going. You knew they were going to win a race eventually. You know what I'm saying? You knew I couldn't say you didn't know nobody was going to die, because there's accidents and shit in this shit. You don't know who's going to get hurt or who's going to survive. So I can't say that, but I'll get back to y'all, man. I'll think on it again. I think I may have to watch F1 again, maybe 4XD, and I'll let you guys know. But go see it for sure. Again, maybe Oscar worthy, because again, Damson's character, he was an asshole, man. We thought that he would get it, be a team player after a while, but just him leading up to being that team player, his character arc, it was good. And he did a good job of being, I wouldn't say Alex Hamilton, but it was like Rich Driver, that, his outfit, his wardrobe, just the wardrobe for this whole movie was amazing. Yeah. So I have to do some thinking. Because this and Sinners are really good. I'm hoping that Jurassic World, I'm hoping that Fantastic Four and Superman can hold the weight of these two movies and just keep it up here. 28 years later, that's like a 6, 8. that dropped off. So we got to jump right back up. I heard Elio is bad too. So this weekend was good. So let's keep it going. I don't know if anything comes out the 4th of July, but the weekend after that, we got the 11th and the 24th. Let's go. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Because Lydell Dinero said so. You feel me? But yeah, go check that out right now. Let me know how you guys like it in the comments and everything like that. But this is the end of the podcast where I'd like to let them know where you can find me at. It's Lydell_Dinero on the Instagram, Patrick_Dinero on the Snapchat. TikTok wise, Best of Bias. No, I ain't got no personal TikTok, but I have it for the Best of Bias. I just put the promos for the pods there. Best of Bias on Instagram, Best of Bias on YouTube, of course. AKA, thank you for all the videos. We had 248, like 249 maybe at this point. We out here thugging it out, episode after episode after episode, on the computer, plugged in, locked in. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Though it may not be 249 episodes, it's 249 forms of content. So check us out. New song coming, man. We got it by August 19th. We're trying to apply a song to 2K to get in the 2K songs. I think me and AK can put something together. So watch out for that. If you guys want to be on the pod, hit me up on the Instagram, email me on the YouTube. You already know where to go. Best of Bias on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any of the updates or any notifications of the pods dropping. What else do I got? Football stuff coming soon. Fantasy football coming soon. More content coming soon. Hopefully this was cool for y'all. Not too much in the pop culture, in the sports areas, but it was Cinema Corner heavy and hopefully some Love Island. I got some, introduce some people to some fandom. You know what I'm saying? It's good, man. Well, I hope you guys watch tonight. You know what I mean? Like, subscribe, share again. Hit that bell. And again, more merch coming soon. One of the new hats too. People want hoodies. People are like, where's the t-shirts at? They coming. We gonna get that shit going back and we're getting a press soon. A shirt press. You know what I'm saying? But hang in there with me. We'll get a lot of shit to you for you to be able to rep the podcast. You see Growly, you know where we at. Lydell Dinero, episode 249, season 3. Almost time for season 4, y'all. I promise it's coming. But without further ado, where that theme song at? This is the end of the podcast. It's your boy Lydell Dinero, and let's get out of here. Hope you enjoy your week. Don't let them stress you out, and keep that head up. Happy 4th of July. I don't know if I'm having a pod next week, so forewarning, I'm out of town on Thursday, so I may not record this week. But hopefully putting it out on Monday is good enough for y'all to chew on for this week. And I'll be back next week with another episode of the Best of Bias podcast to let you guys know how San Diego was. We're going to a baseball game. We partying out there for 4th of July. So I'll be back with lots to talk about. And B-Ron says hi. It's the Best of Bias podcast. We out here. Yeah.
It's the best of Bias. You need the earful. You should try us. From pop culture to the movies to Unitas. It's the best of Bias. Your best of Bias. Yeah. It's the best of